Returning to the bottom of page 14. 10 minutes later, after the rescue squad had arrived and taken away the trick on a stretcher, the two cops got back in and drove around the corner to the station house. By now, the snow had accumulated in the small dunes on the street, and the patrol car slewed as they turned into the parking garage in the basement. The sergeant got out and opened the rear door on the other side of the car from Drew. He reached in and took the girl by the arm, protecting her head from the doorframe with his other hand and looking over at Drew. "Ladies first. We'll be back for you in a minute." "Sure," Drew said, nodding agreeably. "Ladies first." As soon as they were gone, he looked quickly around the cruiser. There were no inside handles or window cranks on the rear doors, so there was no way he could open them. Looking quickly out the side and rear windows, he checked to see if there were any other people in the garage. It appeared to be empty, although he knew there was a glass booth at the entrance where a cop monitored arrivals and departures. Drew had only a few seconds to make his move. Leaning forward, he laced his fingers through the metal mesh of the screen over the back of the front seat and tested how firmly it was welded to the side posts. It didn't budge. He considered kicking out one of the windows, but he dismissed that possibility as too noisy. Even if he succeeded, the glass would land on the cement floor and the cop in the booth would just look around a corner and see what was going on. Drew dropped one hand from the screen and placed it just below the divider on the top of the front back seat. He concentrated for a moment, then pulled with one powerful arm against the screen as he pushed with the other against the seat back. And although the screen remained absolutely unyielding, the seat back below it moved just a fraction of an inch. But it moved. Drew quickly slid down and braced his shoulders against the back of the rear seat, placing his feet at the top of the seat ahead of him. He knew from his work in the body shop that there were only two posts anchoring the front seat to its track on the car floor. Although they were designed to withstand the impact of a collision, Drew knew as well that he had tremendous power in his legs, maybe enough power, given the right leverage, to bend the posts or break the tracks that held the seat in place. Closing his eyes, clenching his jaw, focusing all his energy into his back and legs, applying more and more pressure to the seat, he began slowly to uncoil his body. The front seat moved forward another 2 inches, squeaking sorely with strain, and then stopped. Drew let up the pressure and leaned forward to measure his progress. It was obvious that he lacked the necessary purchase, and the approach was not going to work. Drew surveyed the garage again to make sure it was still empty. Then he turned and knelt on the rear seat. Facing the back window, he lowered his head. Bracing himself with his head and shoulders, he lifted the lower half of his body like a bucking horse and kicked violently backward against the front seat. The entire cruiser rocked on its springs. He glanced apprehensively out the window to see if the noise had attracted any attention. The garage was still empty. When he turned to check the results of his efforts, he saw that the original gap between the seat and the iron grille had widened to 6 inches. He lowered his head, braced himself, and kicked 4 times, each kick reaching further than the last. When he stopped, the seat back had been collapsed into a wedge, like the bow of a ship, with the apex resting against the dashboard. Looking quickly around the garage one last time, Drew crawled under the wire screen, opened the front door on the passenger side, and slid out of the cruiser. He used both hands to wipe the sweat from his face before starting across the garage. As Drew passed by the glass booth on his way out of the garage, the cop at the desk looked up and waved at him. The cop was an old man, and it was a bye-bye wave, a wriggling of the fingers, the kind that women use with babies and children. Carl Drew cupped his own hand, the one with hate written on it, and waved back in the same way, grinning. fighting the impulse to laugh outright. Then he once more turned up the collar of his sidewinder's jacket, pushed open the pedestrian door against the pressure of the wind, and stepped out into the blinding whiteness. This concludes Chapter 1, ending on page 16.